All right. So the first objection that we're going to attack here is I have a realtor. Well, when representing a buyer, let's absolutely congratulate them. Awesome. You're in good hands. The next question is, how much time would you take before you would consider interviewing a different approach? How much time would you take before you would consider interviewing a different approach? Anything outside of that, you're putting them in a bad situation. Once you have like their engagement, huh? I was about to sneeze. How awkward is that? Wow, thought I was gonna sneeze there, and I didn't. Okay. How much time would you take before you would consider at least interviewing another option, another opinion, another angle, another model? So, however they answer that, you can go so many different ways. So let's talk the psychology. You never want to take food out of any realtor's mouth. We are not in this to hurt other people. What our goal is to assure that everyone's getting the absolute best service possible. And once you have the confidence that you're the best agent, and if a buyer or seller uses another agent, they are doing themselves a huge disjustice. This becomes very difficult. But once you feel that you can help them better than anyone else can, now you're coming from curiosity. Hey, great, you're working with an agent. How much time would you take before you would at least consider hearing what I do differently? Well, what do you do differently? Well, I'm so glad you asked. And now you can go down that road. Or they could say, I don't know. And then you could say, well, how much time have you been working with this agent? What I follow a model. May I ask, what is the model that your current agent is using? And what we want to do is not blow up the other side. That's not our goal. Our goal is just to help them self-discover that there may be a better way. And let them make the decision. When it's right for them. So another way to look at this is we're simply setting up landmines for the other realtor. Because the buyer doesn't know what they don't know because they don't know. And they think this is just what they're supposed to do. Spend all day on Zillow and send their agent properties, or their agent putting them on an automatic search. If there was a better way, I mean, would you want to know about it? If I could share my 5-point buyer plan of action and it makes sense, would you want to know more? Do you see all I'm doing is I'm using tie downs and setting landmines up. So if they say no, well, now they've heard that there's a different way, that there's another option. And you can call back 2, 3, 5 weeks from now and simply ask, how's it going? How many homes have you been in? How many offers have you written? What happened? How do you feel? What's your expectation? And the agent either steps their game up or the buyer gets frustrated and comes to the mothership. Because here's what you have to understand. When you're working with a buyer, they're being called by other agents. When you're lead generating to a seller, they're speaking to other agents. And so you have to understand that your job is simply to get clarity on everything from everybody. That's what prospecting is. Tivy, it's just having conversations. And scripts are just your guide to have conversations. So I have a friend or I have a family member. Well, I can appreciate that you're working with a friend. I can appreciate that you're working with a family member. May I ask, is there a time frame at which you would consider hearing a different approach? You can also ask, has there ever been a time where you worked with a friend, did business with a friend, did business with family, and it didn't go as planned? Have you ever had an experience with a friend and it didn't go as planned? Now you can go the angle of, you could always fire me and I will pay your friends. In other words, is it that you want your friend to get compensated, or is it that you want them to work their ass off and negotiate and do everything for you? Let me go to work for you and I'll pay your friends just for being your friend. Now, the important part of all of this, guys, is even if you have the best scripts, you still don't know what they're going to say. That's why we have to do this for hours a day and speak to 100 people a week. So Anna, does that satisfy us for number one?
Yes, I have a question. Is it okay
Number
if we
two,
ask?
I'm going to wait till after the holidays. Well, what my team just did was we went over the 11 reasons to list during the holidays. Now, all that is a stall tactic. Their script is better than yours. So get clarity on why they choose to wait. Always get clarity. So I can appreciate that you want to wait till after the holidays. What's important about waiting till after the holidays? Well, I can appreciate that you want to wait till after the holidays. What does that date mean to you? January 2nd. Awesome. I have some time on my calendar for January 2nd. Does 11, 1, or 4 work better? And start lining up your January. Does that make sense? If they're not, if they're got a true rational reason, I'm waiting till after the holidays. Awesome. Well, what's important about waiting till after the holidays? Well, I'm going out of town. I'm not going to be in town. Well, I can appreciate that. And may I ask you a question? If I could have your house sold by the time you come back from out of town, would that pose a problem? Well, no, that wouldn't pose a problem. So what you're saying is that if you have your house closed and funded by January 5th, would that be a good thing? Well, yeah, that would be a great thing. Awesome. Well, then let's get your house on the market today. Let me go to work for you. I'll report back all the showings. And when you come back, we'll already be under contract. Fair enough? Or the other way is, well, no, I'm going out of town and I really don't want the house on the market when I'm out of town. Awesome. May I ask when you'll be back in town? I'll be back on January 2nd. I have some time on January 3rd. Would morning or afternoon work better? Another angle. Hey, Jaime, welcome to the party. So Shauna, Summer, Liz, welcome, guys. All right. So I want to wait till after the holidays. Awesome. Well, may I ask you a question? Is your goal to sell the house for the most money it's worth or the least? They're going to say the most. Well, here's the good news. You're speaking to an agent that speaks to at least 20 people a day and about 100 a week. And would you believe me if I told you that 60% of everyone that I've spoken to said the same thing you did? They're waiting till next year. So would you agree if everyone's waiting till January that there's less houses on the market today? Would you agree that with supply and demand, the least amount of supply, the more money you can demand? So let's do the right thing. Let's meet so I can talk about the value of your house, the conditions of the market, so that you can make the most informed decision, whether you want to list it now and have it sold by the beginning of the year, or just wait and have to compete with hundreds of other houses. Does 3 today or 6 work better? Anna, how did I do on that one? Awesome. I'm going to wait till prices go down because prices are too high right now. Wow. I couldn't agree more. I mean, prices are insane. And yet, what's important about buying a house? What has your experience been in the market? I can completely understand that you'd like to wait, and waiting might be the best thing for you. Yet, may I ask, is your goal to spend the most amount of money for the house or the least amount? And they're going to say, least amount. And you say, so many buyers like you kind of make the cardinal, may I say, mistake that you look at the price of the home. Would you agree that the most important part of buying a house is your out-of-pocket cost and your monthly payment? And they're going to say, well, yeah, that makes sense. So our goal is to get the least out of pocket and the lowest monthly payment. Would you agree? May I explain what the details of the two are? And now we go into education mode, which builds rapport, and it allows us to be the professional, Tony, that that we want to be, and allows us to create now a dialogue, and it provides us the opportunity to decide if we even want to work with this person. So I want to wait until prices go down because they're too high. I completely get it. I completely understand. And what I hear you saying is you want to get the best deal. Yeah. Well, what does the best deal mean to you? Blah, 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 blah. Cool. May I share what many buyers that I work with find as a good deal? The least out of pocket and the lowest monthly payment. May I explain? See, the least out of pocket is the best loan program, which is down payment, and the least amount of closing costs. Closing costs are simply, I am recording, Shoshana. Closing costs are simply the costs associated with getting the loan, clean title, inspections, appraisal, and the monthly payment is the lowest interest rate. You want to get the lowest interest rate, not the highest, right? So if we could get your payment and your out of pocket comfortable, would you reconsider diving into the market? Now, Anna, we don't know what they're going to say from there. We have no idea. And quite honestly, once we get to know their out of pocket and their monthly, the numbers still may be way off. But when I say you can set 2, 3, 4 appointments a day easily, it's by handling what they say and creating a consultation. Because waiting might be the best thing for them. But here's the truth. If prices are 400 at an interest rate, if prices are 400 at an interest rate of 2.5, and prices go down 10%, 90% of 400 is 360. If the interest rate goes from 2.5 to 3.5%, 360 at 3.5% is more money per month than over here. And you could do the math yourself with a mortgage calculator. So when somebody says the prices are too high, agree with them and then walk them through this exercise. Because you're the professional. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea. They say that everyone is an expert in 3 things. Number 1, politics. Number 2, sports. And number 3, real estate. And the truth is, nobody knows jack about the 3 of them, except for all of you on the call, which are professional real estate agents. And professional real estate agents do one thing. They help people think to make the best decisions for themselves. Number 4, we have, I'm just curious. I'm just looking. Which is the easiest one of all to overcome. Because all they said there is, stay away. You're gonna hurt me. Stop hurting me. Stay away. That's all that they said there. And it's your job to help them understand that you're not going to hurt them. That you're not going to hurt them. There's nothing that you're going to do to hurt them. So I'm just looking. How exciting. Well, what is it that you're looking for? How long have you been looking? What's important about looking? If you found the perfect home, where would it be? What would it look like? And in other words, just blow past it. Because I can't tell you, I can't, how many times somebody said that they didn't want to list their house and they listed their house. I can't tell you how many people said, I'm not interested. I called them 2 weeks later and they were under contract with the house. I can't tell you how many. So all it is a gut human reaction. And the reaction is, you're going to hurt me, I'm running away. And that's why you don't say, how could I help you? Or are you buying? This is a courtesy call. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. How can I help you? I know I said, but that's what you're supposed to say. How can I help you? And put your hands like this, put your hands like this. That's why it's so important that you get headsets, guys. So you can use your hands and transfer energy. Hey, this is Lee over at Keller Williams, who had registered on my site. This is a courtesy call. How can I help you? Oh, well, we're just looking. I can appreciate that. What is it that you are looking for? We're looking for a house. How exciting, I sell houses. And what methods are you using to find the right home? Oh, we're using Zillow. Awesome. Tell me more about that. May I ask, what do you love about Zillow? And like, just build rapport with them. And then you'll find out, well, actually, we're just frustrated because we just lost on our third house. And then they'll open up. I promise you, if you build rapport, they will open up within 2.5 to 3 minutes of the conversation. And then you got it. Then you just disclose your value proposition. All right. So the definition of a lead is someone looking to buy or sell real estate who is qualified, willing to work with me, and is looking to do business within blank. The shorter the blank, the time frame, the more deals you will do. The longer the time frame, the less deals you will do. Because if you think everybody's a lead, then you're just not going to do a lot of business. But if you only have one lead and you know you have to close 2 transactions a month, then your lead generation activities will be bigger. Cool. So now we have a person in Maryland who's looking to move to Miami, who we don't know if they're qualified yet. We know they want to work with you, but we don't know when they want or when they're going to move. So that doesn't mean that we disregard them. It means that we have to get more clarity before we consider them a lead. That doesn't mean we disregard them. They're still part of our world, but they're not a lead yet, by definition. So how do we keep them warm? That's now the question. And the first part is, we want to get clarity on truly what their goals are. So does their company offer a relocation package? What does that package look like? Because here's the unfortunate part. If there's a relocation package, they might cut you out of the deal. Because many relocation companies use specific realtors that are part of their world. So it would behoove you to get ahead of all of this and start to plant seeds before you put all work in and get cut out when they're ready to finally move. Okay. Now, let's imagine that we know that they're relocating by the end of quarter 1. So let's just say February, March. Let's say quarter 2. It really doesn't matter. Putting them on a neighborhood nurture is fine. However, what you want to assure and understand is if they're searching themselves outside of your ecosystem. Because if she is, then you've lost control. So if we have a time frame of 7 months from now, well, what can we do to keep them in our world? Well, let's provide tools, which would be a neighborhood nurture, which would be your website, which would be every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, a phone call to touch base. Now, let's think with the end in mind. Do they own where they live?
Yes.
Yes. So now, if we get ahead of it, we have a listing referral opportunity.
Right.
So it might behoove us to get ahead of that, get a realtor involved where they live to at least find out what their house is worth. Because if we could find out how much their house is worth, how much they owe, we can now formulate how much cash they'll have to buy. Because if we don't, then we think we have something, and 2 months from now, when things heat up, they don't have enough money to do what they really want. They may find out they refinanced and they don't have the cash to sell because there's no real motivation. It's a want. I'm sick of the cold. I want to move. Well, quite honestly, I'm not bringing $50,000 to the table to sell, so I'm not moving. Versus, hey, my grandma fell and she fractured her hip and she's down in Miami all by herself, and I can't let her be in Miami all by herself anymore. I'll eat the 50,000 and I'll get down there because grandma can't be by herself. You see the difference? And this is clarity and just asking questions and uncovering, are they ready, willing, and able? Do they want to buy or sell? Are they qualified? Do they want to work with me? And are they going to do business within blank? And our job is to get as many of those as possible, because then you're going to make a lot of money. So hopefully you're seeing this all as a positive conversation. So we have someone who wants to buy. We have them on a smart plan, which means that they're being touched by you. We don't know if they see value in it yet, so we got to get clarity. We want them on our website so that they could start saving houses, creating collections, which is what we call it on our website, creating collections, and interacting with you once a week with her new collections. Letting her husband create collections and let them collaborate as co-buyers on your website. So Jaime, what I'm talking about is one of the most important tools that you have as a professional real estate agent with our company, which is your mobile app and your website, which has IDX in North America.
That's true.
All inclusive. So hopefully, Caroline, they're playing around on your website and they are both on there so they can collaborate together and you can see what he likes, what she likes, and you could start to gauge.
Right.
We also want to find out how much equity they have in their house and where they want their payments down here, which means we want to get them qualified, not necessarily their credit run and all of that, but we want to make sure that there's no obstacles or hurdles that they got to clean up today.
Okay, that helps.